Round 20 is in the bag. Round 21 is coming, and I can't wait to get rid of some of these injured guys out of my team. Far out. It's been a rough trot the last couple of weeks. Latrell's gone down. Kolomatangi's gone. Tino's gone. Dylan Lucas is gone. Every man and his dog is gone. Look at this list. Look at this list to the right. Of the guys who I now don't own anymore, you got Murray, Trell out, Katoa on the bye, Sharp injured, Metcalf injured, Lucas injured. Duncan now moved to the centres. Fermor had a shocker. Nicholson injured. Like, when Trent Loiera is sitting as one of the top priced guys that are actually playing and fit now, it's a worry. It is a serious worry. But yeah, there's some good options still to come. Unfortunately, Tino was not it for me last week, and that plus 20-point loss from Herbie Captain meant that instead of 900 par, I was about 60 points off that. So another drop for me down to 1331. It's been a bit of a slide actually, but let's see where it's actually gone wrong. Let's have a look. Let's do a mini review for the Scoop team. I've brought this up here. As you can see, my rank is kind of peaked around 1200, and then it's just one or two good weeks and just tapered off. Let's have a look at those trades though. So from about round 8, 9, 10 onwards, Aaron Clark came in, a bit late to be honest, but that's all right. Kai Pearce-Paul, he's been good. Fletcher Sharp. A shame I got him late, but he scored well while he was there before injury. Zach Hosking was fine, but I sold him too early. He's been going gun. And Fanil Blake has been going okay until the last few weeks, and now he's a little bit of a worry. Kolo was, I mean, everybody bought Kolo. Aitken got injured, didn't get dual. South had a lot of buys. He got sold. Campbell hurt himself a bunch, but has been not the worst. Cook didn't play enough minutes. Lawson got injured. Couchman got injured. Teddy was good. Fino was good. Jack Bird wrecked us all. Well, not all of us, but I jumped on him a week early. Unfortunately, that trapped me into him. Lehigh just didn't work out, unfortunately. Turbo taking too much ball. Karaz, Origin didn't play around 18. Faketti's been great. Katoa's been pretty good. Bradley, okay. Broken, not the best for captain. Okay, to be decided. So, in all honesty, there have been not a lot of theoretically bad buys. They've just turned out pretty rough. I'd say Bird and Hopewade were probably two out there ones, and they just unfortunately both of them didn't pay off. You can see though, there's no Fletcher Duncan, there's Tallis Duncan, there's no Jerome Hughes, there's a couple of guys that I did miss through that period. Unfortunately, yeah, sold Corey Horsburgh and White, who did well. Kautonga was great for about the last 6 weeks till he got injured. Hubner was a fine sell. Tamale getting injured was unlucky. Munster was a fine sell. Hosking, basically from then on, was Gun, injured, good cash cow. Not the best sell, injured, injured and not playing, injured, just not doing well, fine sell, and good cash cow. So unfortunately, there's not been a lot of positive moves for the Scoop in the last 2 months. And look, I haven't done utterly dreadful, but I have gone back 2K ranks when I've been wanting to go up through the origin period. That's usually my strength, and it has not worked out like that this year. So moving into the run home, I'm going to look to go maybe a little bit different just to see if I can catch back up some. And I think Carrigan can help do that for me. So yeah, how nice would have Corey Horsburgh been around 18? No, and or in a Fahu White over this period. It's crazy when in round 13, 14, we were selling guys out like Kautonga and Horsburgh because we had too many guys for round 19 that didn't play round 16 or weren't good enough or whatever. Just unfortunately, sometimes works like that. So for me, Carrigan comes in. I love the option at the price. Yes, Corey Jensen is back on the bench, but I still think you can get 65 to 70 minutes and score high 50s. And Yo with this run home. If the Panthers want to make top 4, there's any shot. Good chance they don't rest their players. And they don't do their customary Penrith rest. He just had a week off too, didn't he? Last week. I'm pretty sure he did. So, I mean, he's just had a rest. That's kind of fine, isn't it? Yep. Yeah, there you go. So I'm very happy with that. 2 gun mids on the bench, gun edge backup. Herbie's there. So I probably need another backline player. Fortunately, Trell's gone. I could buy Dane Gagai. So Gagai playing fullback and potentially with goals is really, really nice at the price. Do I need him though? Especially with the bye next week and not a great run? Probably not. So I may be running with something like this backline for a while now and upgrade for Keddy or Fainu when they peak as that last upgrade before just holding for injury. How good's Kai Pearce Paul been though? Only one score below 50 since about round 10 or so. Really, really nice. The way that it's just worked this year, like I said last week, I think, holding Haas and Cleary, especially Cleary, through this period hasn't really been great. It's prevented me from getting some of those other guys or holding like a horse or grabbing a Duncan or a Hughes or something like that, unfortunately. But now I do have a little bit of flexibility. I've got a few trades left and I think I can crawl back up a little bit in this run home. There's potential for it to go pretty well. I've just got to keep it a little bit touch and go. Battle of the podcast. I'm now down to 17th. Well done, Mitch. He's now, he's still above me. Oh, wow. Oh, poor Mitch. Yeah. Oh, look at that. Triple blow. Fermor, DC, Tino. Oh, and Nickera. Oh, poor bloke. Far out. Yeah, I did not realize that Mitch had that. But yeah, he's until then going all right. Some of the Echo Chamber boys going well. Jay-Z still high up the top. Well done. A couple of casual athlete guys up and around there. Jamie is in 6th. Good week last week and well into the top 1,000 now. Go Jamie. Let's go. Getting up right up there. Look at that. Right around top 1,000 mark for Cookie. Yeah, lots of good stuff. Nikki's catching up to me now, so just goes to show, guys, no matter how rough of a start you have, you can always push up and up if you make good decisions. So he's only about 130 points off me now after being, well, I think he's about 25k rank, and I was about 2k rank about 8 weeks ago. So fantastic job to him. Okay, in all honesty, that's about all I have for fantasy at the moment. It's fairly straightforward. I'd say Hudson Young is probably the pick of the options given their run home. And actually, yeah, let's just look at a couple of these guys. So some of these premium options, if you have a little bit of cash to throw around or maybe an extra trade, Hudson Young just is probably the best edge at the moment in the game. He was scoring 70s, 60s, 80s for fun. Come down in price a fair bit in the last few weeks after that 31. And yeah, 69 without doing basically anything in attack. 4 offloads. He is offload machine this year. They finish with Newcastle, Dragons, Manly, bye. Panthers, which is tough, Tigers, and then Dolphins. Now, I do have to say that there is a solid chance that the Raiders do mass restings in round 27, so it might end up being 2 that you miss. May not end up being a fantastic option, but I'm pretty certain he'll be the top edge scorer through that time. Now, especially now that Kolomatangi is gone. All right, who else? Brayley. Not Jaden Brayley. That's the one. Okay, so Jaden Brayley in most years doesn't run. Like occasionally goes over 100 run meters, tackles a little bit, well, a fair bit, especially for a hooker. Not much attack though. Tiny bit of assists and all that. This year, he's been a fair bit better with this. It's been more involved in the attack, upped his tackles, and in the last 5 weeks, he has seriously upped his attacking output, running out of dummy half, looking amazing. I think Kim and Hines have got that combo really, really going for them. And 89, 68, 44, 76 and 77 gives you what about a 70 average over that period with only one try. He is absolutely killing it. And to be honest, with Aaron Clark cramping up like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, I actually don't mind the Blake Brayley buy as like your number one hooker. It seems a little bit cooked, but if we look at Aaron Clark, he's going fine. He's going pretty well, in fact, but he's no longer playing high 60s, 70 minutes. He's been coming down a bit since then. He did have one or two there, but there were some big injuries in those last few weeks. If we look at this Tigers game and we look at this Knights game, let's have a look at these interchanges. So Aaron Clark came on, 64 minutes. Aaron Clark went off, 77 minutes. 12-minute stint, in fact, came off with cramp. Last week, he came on 65 minutes, or nearly 66, and came off at 73. A 7-minute stint. Came off with cramp. I think it's catching up to him. I think it's catching up to the Warriors, some of their forwards' injuries. But just to watch on Aaron Clark, because for the last couple of weeks especially, hasn't been tip-top for him. And his PPM's not quite as high as it was earlier in the year as well. That's expected for middle forwards at the back end of the year, unless your name is Terrell May, apparently. He bucked that trend, like I said. I thought he was going to go down, and then he proved me wrong, plays 80 minutes and scores 80 points. So well done to all the captainers, which was a good chunk of people. Certainly got one over the ones who jumped to Herbie. So just one to consider. I think Blake Brayley is a good buy. Should he be your hooker number one? Don't know. Could be. Hudson Young could also be that guy, but may have a few buys. Who else? I like Carrigan has mentioned, Joe has mentioned, especially if there's a chance that they'll be able to break into the top 4 in that last week. Who else? Jerome Hughes. He's been running the team without Pappenhausen, and in all honesty, if Pappenhausen's calf is going to bother him for the rest of the year, even when he's back, Jerome Hughes is going to run the show. He's got like 8 try assists the last 4 weeks. He's just pretty much half number 2 behind Cleary now. Nico Hines. Let's actually check how well Nico's going, because with the Sharks going better, he's also doing better. So in those 5 weeks since Brayley started going well, he's done a little bit more in attack. But the numbers haven't really painted a great picture, I suppose. Maybe he's just feeding off that and going over for a try more often than not. Actually, I don't really love those numbers that much, hey? Like, he had that really big game, but otherwise, outside of that, 54 with a try, 50 with a try, and all those goals, maybe not as good as I thought. Maybe he's just a Supercoach hold play over Jerome Hughes. Now, we'll go over to Supercoach now, because I'm doing much better over there than at Fantasy. And for the first time ever, I have gone down into the double digits. I've had 1 week in the double digits in Fantasy before popping back up and finishing 129th in 2023. But 56th for me in Supercoach, which I'm absolutely stoked about. Brought in Dylan Edwards, Captain Dylan Edwards, got 173 doubled. Absolutely fantastic. If the site will actually do things for us, that would be great. It would be really good if the site did things for us. yeah, at the moment, I've got Tino and Kolomatangi to deal with. A little bit like fantasy, and it really doesn't want to do anything. Hey, so there we go. Okay, so a bit of a spoiler alert already. Uh, yeah, so 1406 for me last week. Captain Dylan Edwards was great. Benched Nwangani Nawaze, which was helpful. Tino went out for me in the flex as my lowest scorer. Thankfully, I didn't have Nicker or Billy Smith. That hurt a few players who also had Tino, and that was about it. So I'm pretty happy with where I'm traveling. I have had 8 trades left. I'm probably going down to 6 in the Podmasters group for poor Matt. That's all I could say, really. Look at this. He's still leading despite giving up that 200-point advantage. He went from 6th to 32nd. I mean, that's still a great rank, but sometimes Supercoach and Fantasy give and sometimes they take away. He brought in Cleary the other week. Got that lucky, really great score off the bench, and we'd call that a win. And then Cleary's missing, and so with Nico in the flex, he could not get to Dylan Edwards, and it kind of hurt him quite a lot. So unfortunately for him, maybe winning the overall comp is now out of the question, but it certainly makes things spicy for this Podmasters League. There's 3 of us heavily in the running to take it out now. Shout out to Jerome and Empire, though, with a 1452, storming up at least into contention to take it out. And Jamie. Jamie's had a great last few weeks. He's up to 26th now. He was about 40th only like 3 or 4 weeks ago, and up to about 3,000. Fantastic stuff from Jamie. What did he do this week? How did he go? Captain Dylan Edwards, fantastic. Who's he missing? Oh, he played Talis Duncan. So he didn't quite have he didn't have Lomax. That's the difference. So Lomax versus Duncan was about 40 points, which is the difference between his and my squads this week. But I think that he's coming home really strong and in good position right now. And yeah, in the J Buffet private group, sort of the run has narrowed down to 2. Still in contention, but I mean, we just saw how a 200-point swing can happen in 1 week. But yeah, a little bit of catch up from Trellcorp and YRNJ. But yeah, great job, Papa Dogs. He's actually closing in on me here. He's actually closing in. We're only about 130 off now, so well done to him. But yeah, that's how it's sort of looking for Supercoach. If we sort by the new selections to bring in this week, Dylan Edwards is pretty heavily brought in. I do wonder how much that is influenced by just the top 1% updating to have the teams that actually captured him and rushed in there because of the new points. I'd say that's actually quite a lot. But for sure, the Cleary and the Haas are pretty much all from buyers this week. Blake Brayley probably mostly as well. Young, Lomax, all that. There's a lot of really nice options. If we just go to second rowers, because far out, Dylan Lucas, Tino, and Kolo all going down is disgusting for depth. Hudson Young is just a very good buy now. I think with the depth being reduced there, he's just somebody you probably have to get or really, really should consider at the very least. If you don't have the money, Angus is really good. I still like Carrigan in Supercoach, but Angus try potential is a little bit nicer. So I might get Carrigan still, but I'm not dead sure. Clark, I'd wait on now because of the minutes and the cramp stuff. Yo is so cheap for what we know that Yo could do. Is he going to be good enough in Supercoach, though, compared to Fantasy? Possibly. Yeah. Blink and Zach Hosking, I sell him, and he hits like a 70 and a 100 or something like that. Yeah. How dare he? Naughty. Naughty, but well done to those players who actually held through and yeah, there's a lot of really heavily brought in options this week. Like everybody down to Kane Bradley, everybody down to Corey Horsburgh. I think I'm fine with. Maybe not so much Clark. But yeah, Carrigan, I've already talked about in fantasy. Going great enough. I'm bringing him in this week potentially. Hosking, I guess he's playing so well that you could argue that he'll keep that big minute role. I don't think he'll play 80 minutes all the time though, so question marks on that. I do like Olakuatu as a pod though. Olakuatu, even though Manly's run home is difficult, I think that given the lack of other options, just the weapon that we know he is, if Manly can continue to play well, like they did last week against the Storm, he might actually go really well. Maybe they're they're benefiting from not having to play one tactic, just give the ball to Hamole. But I think it's all right. Okay. So for me, the big decision is Cleary or no Cleary because I've got Dylan Edwards. I've got to go sell Hughes probably if I was going to do that. I probably still will, but Hughes, I think I'm very happy to hold this week because there's no Pappenhausen still. He's going to run everything. And Cleary, we still don't really know if he's going to kick goals. Against the Tigers, though, is terrifying. But I also really want Blake Braley before he goes up anymore. And he's playing the Rabbitohs. Have you guys seen how busted the Rabbitohs are? Souths fans have really been going through it. I do feel for you guys like Cookie and Ham and all the rest. It has not been a fun time for the poor old Rabbitohs. The injury toll just keeps going up and up and up. What's going on there? Like, do you think it's the training regiment? Do you think it's the ground? Does Wayne Bennett secretly sabotage all his players in the sheds or something? I don't know because at this point I'm just picking anything. Jai Gray's fullback, Johnson Munro wings, okay. Duncan Tass in the centres, bit off, missing some depth because Whiten is 6, Dodd is 7. That means there's no Humphreys, there's no Sullivan, there's no Cody Walker. Totola and Kepi props, Havili 9, no Marmazilis, he's out again. Aitken, Jair Edges, Hubner 13, LeBlanc there, he's been doing okay. And then Host Gray Ward ran out the interchange there. They're running out of players. Tom Fletcher can probably make a debut sometime soon. I've heard that he's pretty good. Like, has he already played? Has he already played a game? I can't remember. But yeah, I think that the Sharks put a number on the Rabbitohs this week. I think with them turning it around in form, I think Blake Braley and Hines have potential to really rip them to pieces, and I want a piece of that. I want Blake Braley and I want Nico Hines. I want that Sharks draw. So for this week, I'm going to go the really weird route of keeping McInnes purely for second row depth at this point, if I need to, and Connor Watson, and actually buying Blake Braley. Watson is going to be probably like my 18th man most weeks now, I guess. And I will likely sell Tino next week to another second rower, likely Carrigan or Yo or Angus. But nothing out to going has basically let me have enough in the bank to go Hughes to Cleary and Tino to whoever without really even thinking about it. That means my main team moving forward will be if we pretend Tino is a gun second rower and we pretend Hughes is Cleary, this starting side is probably my finish end of the year starting side. And then my 4 permanent reserves would be, well, one of the fullbacks, Teddy, at least one of these two, Munster Hughes. And the matchup plays would be Talagi, Karapani, Watson, with White and McInnes as like the 21st, 22nd and 23rd man, and then everybody else is enough. That is really nice depth. I think I'm happy with that moving forward. because that means I can deal with 2 injuries at hooker, 2 injuries at second row, 2 injuries at centre wing, and an injury everywhere else without having to miss a player. I'm very happy with that depth. And in round 27, having 23, well, it's so far from the end of the year, but having 23 players that I could know will probably get me 50 or more, I think is going to be so crucial in round 27. I think it's going to be so crucial because when you've got, oops, Young's gone, oops, Katoa's rested, maybe one of these two is rested. If I've got 17 or 18 instead of 13, that will push the ranks home. That will bring it home and might turn a 23rd into a top 10. Like it could be that it could do that if I put myself in the position to do that. I think a lot of other teams will be trying to do something similar, but if we have a look at this poll that I did earlier today in Supercoach Hub, a lot of teams are running very low on trades. So I might actually be up a fair bit on the average guys around the top. So that'll do it for us, guys. Supercoach segment is going to become longer and longer as I get closer to the end of the season because honestly, 56 is more exciting than 3,000. But I'll always start with fantasy so you guys who are here mostly for the fantasy will have what you need, especially coming into the run home with the important ranks and the important captaincy decisions and the important trade-ins and trade-outs. So until next week, scoop out. Hopefully Blake Brayley scores yet another ton, and I can be happy that I bought him this week.